Imagine if you didn't spawn into a normal Minecraft world, a world full of mountains, cliffs, and endless possibilities. Instead, you spawn into a world with one block and nothing else. In this video, I survived 100 days in hardcore one block Minecraft. You more than likely already know what one block skyblock is, but for the people that don't know, it is basically you spawn in a one block world surrounded by a void. This one block is an infinite block, so every time I break it, it will respawn. It also spawns mobs, animals, and has lots of chests. I have three main goals that I want to accomplish before the end of the 100 days. So first of all, I want to become rich by exploiting some villagers. Secondly, I want to get the best tools and armor that I possibly can. Finally, I want to beat the game by defeating the Ender Dragon. This video probably took the guts of 100 hours to record, so I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. It literally takes 2 seconds and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. If you could also leave a like and a comment so we can try and break the YouTube algorithm. Can we aim for like 1,000 likes or something? That'd be brilliant. Well, with all the boring stuff out of the way, let's get into day one. If you made it this far into the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could watch it the whole way through. Also, just to let you know, my microphone at the start isn't really the best. Halfway through it, I actually bought a new microphone, just to let you know. Just a warning, the majority of this video is me probably breaking the ground and building, so prepare yourself for about 40 minutes of that. We came across our first chest and we got an apple and a sapling. Next I discovered there was 10 different phases. Each of the 10 phases has a different team. I came across my first encounter with a mob. This fella nearly pushed me off the edge so many times, so I quickly decided to build a base around him. In one block Minecraft, the more wood you had, the more you could build, so I put my sapling down straight away and I tried to grow it as quick as I can. This pig had something against me, like he kept getting in the way. I nearly knocked him off like 4 or 5 times. I know it's a bit boring so far, but don't worry, he'll get a lot better sooner. I also came across many other chests. In the next chest I got apples and I got some eggs. I also got another chest that had a water bucket in it. The water bucket was so handy because I could build below the normal block, and also in case I fell off the edge I could literally jump into the water to save my life. I finally made and placed down a crafting bench. With the crafting bench I made loads of slabs. The slabs are so handy, like you can build twice as much with the slabs compared to normal blocks, like, so it made expanding the base a lot easier. After a long day digging, we finally reached the love heart chest. This means it was the end of the phase and we were ready to start a new one. I spent the rest of the day expanding our platform because I knew there's going to be loads to be built in the future. I finally broke the chest and we saw bedrock. This means it was finally time for an upgrade. At the end of the countdown, we reached the first phase. It was called the Plains phase. I can't believe we're still on day 1. We actually got so much done, to be honest. I spent the remainder of the night just punching the infinite block. I'm not going to bore you with loads more mining, so here are some of my highlights. I finally made my first wooden shovel and my wooden pickaxe. I dug up and collected my first watermelon. We had a second pig fall from the heavens above. He was quickly followed by your mom. I got some apples and seeds from a chest. We also had a woolly creature fall from the sky. We also got some soon-to-be KFC. We also had a visit from Kylie Jenner. I got some leather and some berries from a chest. For like the 14th time already, I expanded my island. I got some more leather and I got some birch saplings, which I quickly placed down as the sun began to set. Finally, we'd reached day 2, and with day 2, we reached the second phase. But before the bedrock counter, we got another love heart chest, and in this chest we got probably the most important block in the game, which was the grass block. We'd already 1 out of the 10 phases done already, like, if this keeps it up I'll have the game finished by day 10. After what felt like almost the longest 20 seconds of my life, we finally got revealed what the next phase was. It was called the underground. With the new stone I'd got, I was finally able to upgrade my tools. I was actually sick of mining with them wooden tools, they were so slow. I finally placed down the grass block, like, I was hoping none of the sheep would eat it, like, or else I'd have none left, and I'd have to go the rest of the 98 days with no grass. All the animals were really starting to get in the way at this stage, so I decided to go down below and build them a nice little pen. I really underestimated the amount of wood I had and the amount I'd actually need, so I spent the rest of the daylight cutting down some trees. These animals will want to be happy with the amount of effort I put in to just make them a house, like. I continued to dig into the night of day 2, and before I knew it, I came across my first zombie. My guy had some drip, he was wearing a solid leather helmet, so I decided to kill him and steal it off him. Before I knew it, he came back from the dead, but this time he brought his friend. He wanted some revenge because I stole his hat. We also had a couple of rabbits spawn that absolutely hated their lives. They literally jumped off the cliff straight away. This phase was literally just full of mobs, so for the whole rest of the evening I just spent fighting mobs. On the morning of day 3, I realised that I was quickly running out of food, so I decided to make a wheat farm. This would also come in handy because I'd be able to get unlimited leather and I'd be able to get loads of beef. Because it was day 3, we didn't really have much dirt, so I couldn't really make it the biggest. So I was always going to expand it in the future. I also accidentally killed the one sheep we had. If we wanted to survive through the nights from now on, we'd have to get a bed, but the only way we'd be able to do it is to get a mob spawner. So around day 9 or 10, I decided to make a mob farm, so make sure and stay tuned until then if you want to see it. I learned my lessons from killing the sheep, so I used non-violent methods in order to get the mushroom and get the cow into their pen. And you guessed it, we went back mining again for like the 17th time. I was kind of half asleep at this stage, and out of nowhere a creeper spawned. He actually scared the shit out of me. He was no match for my 1000 IQ play for hiding behind the tree, even though he nearly exploded like 4 times. After another long night of fighting mobs, we finally came across the Love Heart chest. It was actually called a benevolent gift. I didn't even know what it was called. We got a map and we got some coal. The map's actually pretty handy because we can have a look at it every so often, like, and we can see how big our world is like expanded, so it's really cool. As you can see so far, it's really tiny, but don't worry, I'll actually fill out the whole map by the end of the 100 days. We destroyed the chest and we finally got another upgrade, so I waited 30 seconds and see what we got. The third phase was called the Icy Tundra, but I was so sick of mining at the stage. So for the whole rest of day 4, I decided to cut down some trees and expand my wood farm. On the morning of day 5, my wheat had finally grown, so I harvested some of it up and I fed some of my cows so I could breed them. We actually were rich with the amount of wood we had at this stage, so I decided to put a wooden border around the island to make it look a lot better. You'd actually be surprised by the amount of apples you get from cutting down trees. Like, I had so much for food. And you guessed it, for the rest of day 5 and day 6, I went back to doing some more mining. You must be getting really bored at this stage, so here's some more of my highlights. I accidentally punched a dog the second he spawned. Like, he chased me all over the place, so I had to sadly put him down. I felt a small bit bad, but you know, like, it was either him or me, so I teabagged him. I made a small little holding chamber out of wood, so this way if any of the mobs spawned, they won't be able to chase me around the place and maybe hit me off the edge. I fought some of those weird looking skeletons. I found some more saplings, some more ice from a chest. I tried to melt the ice, but it didn't work because it was blue ice. I upgraded to an iron pickaxe and an iron shovel. These weird ice foxes spawned. I didn't really know what they are. They're kind of pointless. Like, they just ran around the place like a bunch of lunatics. They were really annoying, so I decided to kill them both. I got some bones and some bone meal from a chest. I fought some more of them weird skeleton looking yolks. Like, if anyone knows what they are, let me know in the comments below. I gathered enough iron at this stage to make some armour. We were really holding on by a thin thread at this stage, so I built a chest plate and I built some pants. Pops was all suited up. I made a shield to go along with my armour. We'd already ran out of wood, so I spent the remainder of the night just cutting down some trees. My wood farm was actually massive at this stage. It didn't run out of logs at all. Like, for the whole evening I just kept cutting down trees. On the morning of day 6, I came across this random sign. It said that beware, there was the monster party on the way, so I ran away in panic, so I had to fight a big massive herd of mobs. I'm so lucky I decided to build an armour and a shield. Like, if I didn't, I probably would have died and the game would have been over at this stage. They also blew up the little cell I made. Jesus Christ, I didn't realise it'd be that strong. I finally decided to finish out my armour and I decided to build up the little fortress again. Them snow foxes decided to visit again, but sadly they went down and killed my chicken, so I had to go down and just finish them off. Thank God we do get more chickens in the chest later on, so it wasn't too bad. Thankfully 2 more dogs spawned, so I was able to tame them, and now we'll be able to make loads in the future. Things were finally starting to look up for us, and we'd reached the end of the phase. We got the Love Heart chest once again, and finally we got an ice block. This means we could get an infinite water source, we could build so much more farms. My punches fell off the edge, and we finally made our infinite water source. It was so handy. I broke the benevolent gift with my axe, and we'd reached the next phase. The upgrade this time was in 40 seconds. It felt like it was so long. It was only day 6 and we'd reached phase 4 already. Like, we were flying through this. This time it was the deep water ocean phase. I was sick of digging, so at this stage I just wanted to build a lot of things. So for the rest of the evening I just spent the cutting down wood so I'd have loads of materials. Day 7 was the beginning of the massive base expansion, so I turned all my logs into planks and all my planks into half slabs, so I'd be able to build loads. On the night of day 7, I also decided to make a melon farm. I decided to put it down right near my wheat farm, as I was going to turn this into kind of like a farming district in the future. Instead of doing some base expansion, on day 8 I decided to decorate the kind of spawn area, because this is where I'm going to be doing most of my digging and I want to make it kind of look some bit semi-good. I decided to make this small little hut out of oak logs, and I also used some half slabs for the roof. It made the spawn area look a lot better. I also expanded my wood farm by 1 layer. It was so big at this stage, I had so much wood. Not much really happened on day 9. It was kind of one of them like tedious days where just random stuff happened. I cut down trees for most of the day. I also harvested some of my watermelons, I collected some wheat, and I bred my mushrooms. I gathered up 20 stacks of logs for days 10 and 11. For these days I was going to build a big, massive mob farm. Probably the most efficient spawner I'd ever met so far. Honestly, look how many were spawning, it was sick. I spent the rest of the night just getting to level 30, even though we had no enchantment table, but I just wanted to test out how quick it was, to be honest. I finally had enough string to make a bed. This is actually a game changer. Like, I wouldn't have to just cut trees during the middle of the night. I'd actually be able to sleep and be more productive. So I slept in my new bed for the first time. I completely forgot that zombies drop potatoes and carrots. Like, this would be so handy for trade with villagers in the future. All my wooden resources had been built up from making the fucking mob spawner. So on day 12 I decided to cut down logs for most of the day. While I was decorating the mob farm on day 13, a creeper randomly exploded. Like, I nearly got blown off the edge. It was nearly the end of the series. So I spent the rest of the day just making it safer and redecorating it. I finally got my revenge and I killed like 50 creepers. I'd done so much building in like the last 5 or 6 days, so on day 14 I decided to take it a bit handier. I decided to do a bit more mining. I did this for 3 days straight. I know none of you want to see that, so here are some of my highlights. I trapped a turtle in my infinite water source. We finally got our first diamonds of the series. I put some lily pads over the turtle to try and trap him. I had some drown spawn. I took care of him so easily, like. I finally found Nemo. Just like in the movie, I put him in a small little confinement. I got another ice block from a chest. I also had some guardians spawn. They were actually handy enough to literally jump into my cow farm and pretended they were cows, like. So I just left them alone. I found another vein of diamonds. A guardian decided to take its own life. I got some kelp in a chest. We also had another massive one of the guardians spawn. He also went down to the cows. What did all these guardians think of their cows, like? I was going to leave him alone, but he kept giving me mining fatigue, so I just quickly took care of him. The turtle I trapped earlier, his friend came over to try and save him. And again, we had another monster party. This time it was a lot harder than the first one. I saved the fish from drowning, and we finally reached the end of the phase. This time we got a trident and we got 2 water buckets in the chest. This is actually unreal. The trident was actually such a good weapon. I aimed it at the turtle and somehow missed. He's very lucky I spared his life. I finally broke the chest and we got another upgrade. After 3 long days of digging, we reached phase 5. This is called the jungle dungeon phase. I once again ran out of wood. I don't know how I did, but on day 17 I literally spent the whole day just chopping down some trees. And when the night time arrived, I decided to build a nice big cow farm. On day 18, I decided to do a bit more base expansion. I kind of flattened out the top area to make it look more appealing. I also had a small little staircase going from my wheat farm up to that area, because I wanted to link the base a bit more so I didn't have to run around through all the random bits. I hope you're not getting bored with cinematics already, because I have loads of them recorded. On day 19 and 20, I decided to make a storage room. I know it's not the biggest, but we had loads of items and I wanted to store them all into one place instead of keeping them all by the spawn area. I think we had over 100 chests in total, to be honest. This should be more than enough room to keep all our items for the 100 days. I completely forgot to put torches on the roof, so after I built it I had to kill all the mobs off it. I also came across another wandering trader. He was just hanging around with his llamas. I decided to check out his trades and they weren't the best, so I just decided to slaughter him. You'd never guess, but I ran out of wood once again, so I spent the rest of the evening of day 20 just cutting down some trees. I knew I'd need a lot of item frames for my chest, so on day 22 I decided to harvest all my wheat and I need to feed my cows, because the leather was needed to make the item frames. I also moved every single one of the items I had to the storage room. This was so tedious, like. I checked the map and my god, we had so much progress made. Remember the map what it looked like in day like 2 compared to now? That's unreal how much progress we've made. Before I finished day 22, I decided to put some torches on top of the storage room. Then I decided to jump on my bed and watch the sunset. I really wanted to find some villagers and start doing some trading, so for the next 4 days I decided to start doing some mining. Once we get some villagers, we'll probably be able to get every single item in the game, so here's some of my highlights over the next 4 days. We finally got some parrots spawned for the infinite block. The first parrot cooperated straight away. I fed him some seeds and he wants to be my friend, but the second fella, I tried to feed him some seeds and decided to fly under the map, never to be seen again. The poor guy. We had a few of these vexes spawned. They were so small and so annoying to kill, like their hitboxes were tiny. We got some bamboo from a chest. Bamboo would be so handy for making sticks for trading with villagers, also to be able to smell stuff. Some ocelots decided to spawn. I tried to tame him by feeding him loads of fish, but he just keep running away. Like I fed him like 10 bits of fish and nothing even happened. I also got a chest and some more ocelots. I didn't even care about the ocelots this time because they didn't eat my fish. But in the chest we got some eggs and we got some saplings. We had no chickens anymore from them. Foxes killed them, so I threw one egg and I literally got 4 chickens come out of the egg. I was so happy, like I just danced them and run around. I finally decided to make my first diamond pickaxe. The iron ones weren't holding up anymore. We also had a panda that spawned. I led him down to the enclosure with some bamboo. He didn't want to come down, so I just pushed him down. We had some witches spawn. I actually hate witches so much. They get in my life in like one single potion, so I just quickly took care of them. From a chest we got a witch egg. There's actually nothing you can use a witch egg for in the game. 2 white horses spawned. There's nothing really I could do with them yet because I had no saddle, so I just threw them down to confinement. More parrots decided to spawn, so I tamed them and ran around with 2 of them on my shoulders. I finally got some sugarcane from a chest. This is actually a game changer. Before I even knew it, it was time for another monster party. I actually wasn't prepared at all. I literally ran away to get some arrows. This was definitely the hardest one we faced yet. After a tough fight against some mobs, we finally got back to mining. I got hit by a witch potion. This is honestly the closest I've died so far in the series. It got me down to 2 hearts. Like, these are so overpowered. I just ran away and ate some food and hope for the best, to be honest. The same thing happened again. I got hit by a witch once again. I got down to 2 hearts. Like, I honestly hate these witches so much. And to make things even worse, while I was shooting her, one of my parrots decided to jump in front of her and I slaughtered him. GG parrot. I got another diamond from a chest. And after a long 3 or 4 days of mining, we finally reached the love heart chest. I was so happy this stage. I'd done so much mining. We got loads of diamonds, bamboo and cocoa seeds, so it was actually a fairly good chest. Once again, I'd broken the love heart chest and it was time for an upgrade. Finally, after a long minute of waiting, the next phase was revealed. It was the Red Desert phase. We were already on phase 6 out of phase 10, like it's only 10 phases until the end, so we were actually progressing through this fairly quickly. I had no use for these jungle saplings, so I decided to just place it down and make a tree beside my storage area. It kind of looked fairly cool, to be honest, like added a nice aesthetic to the area. I decided to expand my farming district. This time I decided to make a sugarcane farm. We need loads of sugarcane for the future to make books and make enchantment table, so a sugarcane farm is well needed. I nearly fell off the edge like 15 times while I was building the farm, so I spent the rest of day 29 putting fences all around my farming district. I need to cut down a lot of trees and I knew iron axes were going to keep breaking, so I decided to make a diamond one. So I spent all night at day 29 cutting down trees. I also harvested my wheat farm. I also looked at the map once again to see how much progress we'd made. With nearly half the map filled up so far. This is unreal. I felt like my base is looking a bit bare, so on the morning of day 30 I decided to build a fountain. I built it out of cobblestone and mossy cobblestone. I placed the water at the top. It kind of looked fairly cool, to be honest. Like, it just kind of broke the building up a bit and didn't make it look bare. It looked even better at the night time. I spent the whole day 31 fighting mobs with my XP grinder just to get to level 50. It wasn't really needed, but I thought it looked cool. I was starting to feel a bit sorry for my dog sitting outside the whole time, so on day 32 I decided to build him a nice looking kennel. If you made it this far into the video right now, please just leave a like and subscribe. Like, I'm 17.5 minutes through the video and I'm literally talking about myself, pretending my Minecraft dog is cold. My parents next door just listen to me thinking I'm a weirdo, so please just like and subscribe. I finally brought my Minecraft dogs over to their pen. They loved it so much. I fed them some rotten flesh and they had a little baby. And don't worry, I definitely wasn't staring at them. I decided to call the little puppy subscribe, so you better subscribe right now. After another long few days of building, we decided to go back mining on day 34. I really wanted to find villagers at this stage so we could get some diamond tools and diamond armor. So again, I'm not going to bore you, so here are loads of my highlights. I came across my first llamas. There's nothing really I can do with them so far, so I just threw them down into my pen. And by threw, I mean I punched them. Some more foxes spawned. I really didn't want them to kill my chickens, so the second they spawned in and they went over to my farm, I trapped them in. I got some redstone and some cactus from a chest. After only about 33 days, we finally got our first villager. Her name was Ruth. Even though she had a big ass forehead, we decided to keep her. So I decided to put her in a boat and bring her over to my storage room. She's been so uncooperative. The second I let her go of the boat, she ran over to my bed, so I decided to teabag her. She wasn't one bit happy with how I was treating her. She literally tried to jump off the cliff, so I saved her by putting her in a boat. I came across my first pillagers. They were friendly, so I decided to put them in a boat. There's literally nothing you can do with pillagers, like, but I don't care. I decided to keep them anyway. They kind of look cool. I had another villager spawn, but this time it was a wandering trader. His name was Terry. Unlike the last wandering trader we killed, I decided to keep this fella, so I put him in a boat and brought him over beside Ruth. I had some more pillagers spawn from the infinite block. This time they weren't as friendly as the last one, so I decided to take care of them quickly. I got a chest with some cactus and some redstone. Loads of zombies kept spawning. Thank God we had the villagers over in the boats in a safe area, or else they would have killed them. Again, it was that time of the phase where it was a monster party. This time it was way harder than the last was all put together. I survived the mob party, went to check on my villagers. Thank God they were still alive at this stage. I got another chest with some coal, some vines and some leather. As I continued to keep digging the infinite block, I got like 3 or 4 more villagers. This is so handy. Like, I put every single one of them in boats and brought them over to my storage room. I just leave them there now until I was going to build up a nice chamber in a few days' time. Again, after digging for 3 or 4 days, we finally came across the love heart block. This chest wasn't the best of the lot of them. All we got was some emeralds, some cobwebs and some balls of enchantment. Like, compared to the rest of them, it wasn't the best. Broke the block, waited 80 seconds and we finally got a new upgrade. At the end of the countdown, we'd reached phase 7. This was the nether phase. Things were getting really serious as phases were getting a lot harder. I spent all of day 40 and 41 just at my mob grinder. I just kept killing loads of mobs and trying to kill as many spiders as I could, because I needed hundreds upon hundreds of wool in order to get some beds. The next 10 days are probably going to be the most important 10 days of the series. These are the days I started doing some villager trading. With the villager trading, we'll be able to get unlimited emeralds, and we'll also be able to get unlimited diamond armor and diamond tools. So I first started out by building a villager breeding area. I know I built the floor out of cobblestone and wood and 2 different materials, but I was so sick of chopping down trees at this stage. I literally just used whatever blocks I had inside my storage area. I put down a few composters and I made loads of farmer villagers. I did this in order to be able to trade carrots and potatoes with them. I could also trade some wheat and melons because I had loads of these farms already set up. Because I built them up spawner on day 10, I was able to get infinite bone meal. This way I was able to grow unlimited carrots, unlimited potatoes, unlimited everything and be able to trade for so many emeralds. I made a small little carrot farm beside this trading area. This way it was so handy to get carrots. I could literally use the bone meal and just bone meal them as much as I want, so I get as many carrots as I want to, so that way I could get as many emeralds as I want to really. I literally did this for about 10 days straight. I exploited them so much and got so many emeralds off them. On day 42 I decided I wanted to make a librarian, so I decided to get a lectern and put it down. The first trade I was offered was a fortune tree, so I decided to keep it. I traded some paper with him and I locked in the trade. I spent all the night of day 42 just bone mealing carrots and collecting free emeralds. This is so good. On the morning of day 43 I finally had enough emeralds to buy my first fortune tree book, so this is very handy as I'd be able to get way more diamonds in the future. The villagers really didn't want to make any baby villagers, so I decided to give them like 4 stacks of carrots in order to try and help them to do so. And it worked. When I came back a few minutes later, we had a small baby villager jumping on the bed. I also unlocked watermelon trades with Wanda, so I decided to collect all my watermelons and trade them with her straight away. I spent all the night of day 44 just bone mealing the ground and getting some more wheat. I didn't feed my mushrooms in about 5 days, so I decided to go down and feed them some wheat. The next job we had to do was level up my toolsmith. This is in order to be able to unlock diamond armor, so I bought like 15 pairs of shoes off him and I nearly filled up a whole double chest by the time I was done. I also got loads of more baby villagers. While I was in the middle of doing loads of trading, I saw an iron golem that spawned. I quickly took care of him. This was so handy as we were able to get unlimited iron from now on and probably make an iron farm in the future. I also leveled up my farmer Wanda to the max level. She was now able to give golden carrots for emeralds. On day 46 we unlocked diamond armor. This is actually so broken. Trading villagers is like so overpowered. I didn't have enough emeralds at the time, so I went away and traded and came back when I had enough to buy some. If anyone's on the market for some iron boots, hit me up because I have a whole double chest full of them. On day 46 I expanded my wheat farm. I really wanted to keep getting more and more emeralds to get so much and get absolutely rich. I also killed another iron golem and took all his iron. I took a break from trading to see how my dogs were doing. I fed them some rotten flesh as I hadn't fed them in like 5 days. I spent the night harvesting more watermelons and literally collecting all my farms. This iron golem was stalking me, so I decided to kill him. On day 49 I finally got my armor to max level. I was now able to buy a hat and a chestplate. I now had a full set of fully enchanted diamond armor. Like, there was no way anything was going to kill me. I accidentally bought a spare diamond helmet as well. To celebrate, I decided to jump on the bed with some of the baby villagers. If you made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. We're on day 50 already and I put so much effort into this video. I'd really appreciate it if you could help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. We're so close, we're on like 600 at this stage. Also, if you could leave a like and a comment to help with the YouTube algorithm, I'd be really appreciative of that. On the start of day 50, I decided to block off my spawn room. I decided if there's going to be the nether phase, there's going to be blazes everywhere and gas shooting fireballs, so I didn't want my whole base to go on fire. I finally decided to go back mining on day 50, so I won't bore you anymore, so here are some more of my highlights. I encountered 2 friendly hoglins. They didn't want to do any damage to me at all, so I put the 2 of them in boats and I let them watch me for the next few days. I came across my first bit of Asian debris. Straight after, we found our first bit of obsidian. I brutally murdered some magma cubes. I opened a chest and found a piglin spawn egg. Your mom came back to visit again for the 2nd time. I came across my first encounter with a blaze. Thank God I put the cobblestone all around the room or else my whole base would have been set on fire. I put one of these striders in a boat. I got some twisting vines from my chest, so I decided to put it down to a netherrack and try and grow a farm. A gas spawn scared the absolute crap out of me. Thank God I got suffocated in the wall. I finally got my first car in the chest, but little did the game know I had already thousands of them got already. I got a scrap of ancient debris and some gold from a chest. And out of nowhere, we came across another monster party. This was definitely the hardest one we come across so far. And to celebrate beating the hardest monster party so far, I decided to hang a llama off a random string. He was bouncing up and down like there was no tomorrow. And soon I decided just had another strider for the crack. The 2 were literally bouncing. Honestly, what am I doing with my life? My first time a pickaxe broke, so I decided to make a new one. I wanted to add my fortune book to the pickaxe, so I decided to kill loads of iron golems so I had enough to build an anvil. I then ended the day by putting down the anvil and adding fortune to my pickaxe. I also renamed it to the Pickaxe. I also got a nether skeleton from a chest. I decided to put on my head and start doing some dancing. And then before I knew it, I'd reached the end of the phase. I opened up the benevolent chest and we got some unbelievable loot. We got loads of netherite straps and we got loads of goodies. But most importantly, we got a lava bucket. For the 7th time, I broke the benevolent chest and we got an upgrade. I waited the 80 seconds to see what the next phase was. And we reached the next phase. It was called the Idyll or the Idyll, I don't know what it's called, but it was full of snow. We were now only 2 phases off from reaching the end phase. On day 56, I decided to expand all my farms. I knew I really wanted to get way more resources, so I made them a lot bigger. I also decided to breed all my animals. I spent the night killing iron golems, and I also did a small bit of trading. I built an automatic egg farm on day 57. I was so sick of all the chickens running around the place, so I decided to put them all in one place and collect all their eggs. This gave me an unlimited supply of raw chicken, eggs and feathers. Some spots in the base were kind of look a bit boring, so I decided to add a couple of arches to make it look a lot better. I felt like these added a fair bit to the base. I definitely spent way more time than I should have building these, but the end result was fairly cool. I'm just after getting a new microphone as well, so let me know in the comments below if you rather the microphone I had in the first half of the video or the one I have now. For the first time in about 10 days, I harvested my sugarcane farm. When I went back up to the main base area, I saw an iron golem just dancing with the llamas, like he thought he was one of them. I also saw a random enderman hanging in the boat with Xander, like it was so funny, it looked so weird to be honest. I won't judge, it's 2021 and you can do what you want. I went to check on my chicken and egg farm on the night of day 59. It was working fairly efficiently, we got a stack of eggs in like a day. We now had the materials to be able to make an enchanting table, so in the morning of day 60 I decided to make an enchanting table and design an enchanting area. I was running out of space for the main hub of my base, so I decided to cut down the first layer of my tree farm. I finished my enchanting station on the morning of day 62. I put down my anvil and I decided to do loads of enchanting. I built a grindstone and I took all the enchantments off my diamond armor. I say I nearly got the best enchantments I could in the game on my bits of armor. Like, I enchanted all 4 bits and the only bit that was bad was my pants, but I decided to grindstone it again and I got protection the 2nd time I decided to enchant it. I also got feather falling in my boots and I got loads of more stuff. I was now so overpowered, like the fight with the Ender Dragon is going to be so easy. I put down a few armor stands and I just decorated them with a few random bits of items I had. I also decided to enchant my bow. I got Unbreaking 3 in power 4. I renamed my shovel and called it the Pop Shovel. If you get the reference, let me know in the comments. I wanted to get mending books in day 64, so I decided to turn loads of my villagers into librarians. It took me until like day 65 or day 66 to unlock the mending book, like it was so tedious, but it was worth it. I accidentally hit the villager like 3 or 4 times when I was trying to get the mending book. She was charging me like 36 emeralds for it, but it was worth it, so I locked it in straight away. I had nowhere near enough emeralds I needed to get the books, so I decided for the next 5 days just to grind it out and do loads of farming. I made a massive bamboo farm and I turned one of my villagers into a fletcher, that way I could trade him sticks and get way more emeralds. I turned one of my villagers into a toolsmith as well. I bought like 4 or 5 bells off him just to be able to unlock diamond tools. The toolsmith was also selling my ex-girlfriend for 1 diamond. Like, Jesus, that's one cheap ass hoe. On day 66 or 67, I decided to literally place down all the bells I got from the villagers. There's no reason like I did this, but it was so funny. On day 68, I decided to take a small break from breeding and I decided to feed my dogs. My villagers were also protesting at the door. They really didn't like the conditions I was giving them, so they didn't want to do any work for the day. I leveled up my toolsmith to master. He was now selling enchanted pickaxes for a few diamonds. Like, this was so overpowered, so I bought all of his diamond pickaxes until he wouldn't sell me anymore. On day 70, I finally had enough emeralds to buy loads of mending books. They were so overpriced, like, so I could only buy 3 or 4. I also enchanted a new diamond pickaxe. I got unbreaking and efficiency 4. I also put mending on my pickaxe, my shovel and my chest plate. My tools were never going to break again. I also built my shovel a lot better and put efficiency on it. After 29 minutes into the video, we'd finally reached the most important day of the series. This is day 69. To celebrate, I bought a dolphin to the party and I also put down some cake. The villagers were still protesting and didn't want any of the cake, so I decided to just dance on it. On day 71, I looked at my map. We had so much progress made so far. You can see that we had most of the map filled up. We probably about 2/3 at this stage. On day 72, I forgot to click the record button, so I had no footage for the next like 3 or 4 days. I could go back to that replay mode, but it didn't look the same. There was like no HUD or nothing like. So for those few days, I'm just going to include a time lapse. I spent all of day 76 at my mob farm. I wanted to get to level 30 and do some more enchanting. I enchanted my axe. I was so lucky with the enchantments I was getting this series. Like, I got still touch, unbreaking and efficiency. It was way too much effort bringing all the items I had over to my storage room, so I put down like 50 chests and stored everything there. On day 78, I renamed this iron golem. Like and subscribe for the algorithm. You should do what I do to this iron golem and absolutely smash it. I'd really appreciate it if you did. It helps so much you don't even realise. On day 79, I took down this cobblestone wall around the infinite block. It was looking so ugly. I spent all night killing iron golems and just decorating the base. On day 80, I decided to do more decorating and I built this random cobblestone wall. It was looking fairly decent. My villagers had finally escaped. After being in confinement for like 50 days, they finally got out. To get them back to their houses, I decided to ring the bells. They sprinted in straight away. One of them though wasn't one bit happy at all. Like, he decided to jump off the cliff, never to be seen again. Like, there goes my farmer villager. On day 81, I took all the soul sand I had and I made a netherwart farm. If I was going to kill the dragon on day 100, I really need to brew some potions. So on day 81, I decided to make a little brewing and potion area. I used barrels instead of chests because I thought it looked way nicer. I thought I could use these acacia saplings to make like a mega tree, but it only turned out to be 4 little small trees, but it actually looked very good. On day 82, I decided I need to get a picture for the thumbnail, so I decided to go into replay viewer and try and get a picture. I got my screenshot and I was happy out. On day 85, I went over to my mob farm and I saw another villager contemplating his life. This time it was my toolsmith, so I couldn't lose this fella. I decided to break the fence and let him back in. He didn't give me one bit of appreciation. He just looked at me and ran away. I was quickly running out of stone, so on day 85 and 86 I decided to build a cobblestone generator. And yet again, here's another time lapse. I started out day 87 by annihilating mobs in my mob farm. I knew if I was going to fight the Ender Dragon, I needed a god tier bow. I enchanted like 5 or 6 bows, but I came across the god tier bow. I got flame, unbreaking and infinity on it. I added power 4 and I renamed it Like or I'll Delete Your World, so you better like the video right now. Well, you don't have to if you don't want to. I once again ran out of wood, so I spent the whole evening of day 87 just cutting down trees. On day 88, I decided to put our map on the wall. I built an item frame and put it up. We had so much of it filled out so far. It was now time to start digging phase 10. This was the final stage. This was definitely the most difficult phase in the game. There were so many things that wanted to kill me, so I'm going to leave you with some of my highlights. I got diamonds, spectral arrows and dragon's breath in a chest. I also got an eye of ender and some chorus fruit. I took out loads of shulker boxes. They hit me many times, but I used a 1000 IQ plate to land on my fountain. I got enough obsidian to be able to build a nether portal. I took out loads of these endermites, they were so annoying. I got some more gold and an enchanted book with depth stride rabbit. A shulker box hit one of my donkeys. He went flying over out of the map and he fell into the void. He also did the same to one of my white horses. He literally went flying into the sky. Loads of endermen spawned from the infill block, so I took care of him. And it was that time again. We finally got a monster party, but this one, it was definitely the hardest one so far. As a reward for beating the monster party, we got a wither skeleton skull. I also had loads of more flying villagers in the sky. The shulker box were doing some damage, like. But I took advantage of this. When he sent one of my pillagers up in the sky, I literally used him as target practice, so I shot him down straight away. And then we'd finally reached the end of the phase. The whole world went black, and it said the end was near. I had now finished phase 10, and I unlocked the end portal. We were finally getting close to the end of the series. I checked what was going to be our final benevolent gift, and we got an Eye of Ender, Ender Pearls, and we got loads of more chorus fruit. I destroyed the chest, and we'd reached another upgrade. After a long time of waiting, I had finally unlocked the after phase. This was basically a never-ending spawning block, so I could get all the materials I ever wanted. Without any delay, I decided to fill in the end portal. On day 93, I began the prep for fighting the Ender Dragon. I used all the blocks I got from the previous stage to make a nether portal. The only reason I was going to the nether was try and find a fortress. This way I'd be able to get blaze rods and I'd be able to make loads of potions. After a few days of running around, I heard some blazes. I finally had found a fortress. After only killing about 4 or 5 nether skeletons, I'd already got 3 nether skeleton skulls. This was so lucky. I'm definitely going to have to fight the wither when we get to 200 days, so make sure to subscribe to see that. Day 100 was coming a lot faster than I'd realised, so I quickly killed loads of blaze. After getting more than enough blaze powder that I needed, I decided to do a bit more exploration around the nether fortress. I was trying to find loads of chests and a small bit of nether wart. Seeing it's one block Minecraft, I didn't want to spend too much time in the nether, so I decided on day 95 I wanted to head back home through my portal. On day 96, I began the preparation for the end fight. I harvested my nether rat and I began making potions. The first set of potions I made were slow falling potions. I didn't want the dragon to shoot me up in the air and just get killed. Secondly, I made a batch of strength potions, and then finally the last ones I made were regeneration potions. I decided to make a chest beside the end portal. I was going to put all the potions and everything I needed for the Ender Dragon fight inside this. I repaired and renamed my diamond boots. I renamed them Road to 1,000 subs, so hopefully we can hit that. I also enchanted like 5 or 6 swords and I finally got the best sword in the game. It was actually unreal, like I got sharpness, sweeping edge, fire aspect and knockback in it. I ended the preparations by doing a small bit of trading. I got loads of mending books from the villagers and I put mending on every single one of my armor and all of my tools. Honestly, look how good my armor is. There's no way we were going to lose this fight against the Ender Dragon. I ended day 99 by staring into sunset for one last time. The big day had finally arrived. It was day 100. I grabbed everything from my end chest, I didn't waste any time, and I jumped straight into the end portal to take on the dragon. And there you have it, we finally beat the Ender Dragon and we definitely survived the 100 days. If you made it this far into the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe. It honestly took me so long to make this video and I enjoyed every single bit of it. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I'm literally just after hitting 500 a few days ago, so I'd really appreciate it if you could help me out. I'd like to give a big shout out to Luke the Notable and a Cookie God for inspiration for this video. Also, depending on how this video does, I'll see if I do a 200 days, so if you want to see one, leave a comment below. And once again, I'd like to thank you for watching the video. I'll catch you in the next one.